Thank you. You made that very, very special. Should I start now? Okay, awesome. What's up? What's good? What's popping? Mereece Dryer. Yeah, man. I'm so happy to be on Deeply Rooted. I was just telling the other guys that I've actually made it in life, man. I'm here. But yeah, man, Mereece Dry. I'm a multimedia personality. I'm pretty sure you are wondering, what does multimedia mean? So multimedia consists of radio, TV presenter, MC, and also sooner or later we might add actress onto that one. So that's basically who is Mereece Dry in the entertainment field of things.
Amazing. Now, you mentioned to me that you are way more comfortable being in the interviewer seat than being interviewed. Coming from a radio background, you've interviewed so many people, yet you yourself have not been comfortable being interviewed. Can you maybe just share that with us?
So just to put it out there, this is my first interview. I've never been interviewed before. I've had requests to be interviewed, but I've always declined them. So I think this is very personal to me, right? So I'm part of a podcast called It's Not Common Sense Loud. And last week we were shooting and we were discussing different topics, right? And then we found ourselves discussing this topic, Pati, what they call it again? What they call it again? Abantu bazothini syndrome. And then as we were discussing that entire conversation, right, I found that I actually suffer from that. So all this time, I was very afraid to put myself out there to the public because I'm kind of like scared of what the public will think of me, of my questions, of my answer. Because if we are being honest, the entertainment side of things, the people, in fact, the public are very judgmental, you know? So I'm always the one to try and put myself in a very safe place, basically to protect myself. Because I'm still new, I'm still upcoming. So I just don't want to put myself out there for the public to eat me up if I don't do something according to their standards. Because in this public that we live in, it's very judgmental, and I'm just afraid of the judgment from the people that I will get, because I'm pretty sure and I'm certain, as much as I'm going to be growing in the industry, I'm going to get those rotten eggs, along the way. So that's just basically it. And I think with myself doing this interview, I'm prepping myself, getting myself comfortable with being interviewed, because it's my first time and I'm really, really shy, and it's normally the other way around. I'm normally the one, behind the scenes asking the questions, but this time around I'm the interviewee, you know. So yeah, that's basically it, man. And I just hope with this interview and more interviews to come that I get comfortable to put myself out there and just have thick skin, because people are going to judge regardless, of what happens.
You actually just reminded me. I remember it might have been like over 5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
when somebody interviewed Kanye West, and they said to him, "Why are you always speaking to the hater? Why are you always thinking of the person who's going to criticize you?" And it also like really made me aware of that it's also where we put our focus. So just
Yeah.
as as a lesson from that also is there's always going to be critiques, and I think it's just about putting our focus. But girl, you got
Yeah.
this.
And I think also sometimes I just speak on myself, is that I don't want to see the positive. I just want to see the negative. To be honest, I'm very hard on myself. So the content that I put out there, I'm very unsure about it, because I'm always thinking about what's the hater going to say, like, the negative thoughts instead of the positive thoughts. So it's something that you have to work on. It's not a thing that you'll sleep on next morning. You know what? I'm a better person. You just have to gradually work on it, and then sooner or later you're going to overcome it. Or if you don't overcome it, you just have to have thick skin to the public, especially in the entertainment side of things. So yeah.
For people who don't know, how did you get into radio?
Radio. So I'm also shocked that I'm doing radio. So I initially thought that I was going to be on TV. I love TV. I think the space is meant for TV. Don't you agree? Look at me. I'm kidding, man. So radio, I've always known that I'm going to do something in the entertainment side of things from a very little age, right? I've always been that girl, always entertaining the family. If we are having some events at school, I'm always in the forefront, probably modeling, probably dancing, definitely not singing, presenting. So, radio, I was in duty. And during my first year, I first initially in what's this thing called, auditioned for DUT radio. So that didn't work out, and then the auditions were probably held in August. I'm not really sure. It's been some time, and then 2 months went by, and I found myself at DYR. And me finding myself there, it was through a friend. So Mohammed, shout out to Mohammed, we're really, really close friends. So JD Du, who's a current program manager at DYR, was hosting an event. And then it so happens that Mohammed was there, my friend. So he actually put in a word for me, and he was like, yo, I have this girl who's very talented, but doesn't have much experience, and doesn't have much experience, pardon me, and would like to get into the entertainment side of things. And he was like, yo, send her my tents and we'll take it from there. I actually texted JD Do the next day, and then he was like, okay, cool, come through for an interview. We had a small sit down, and in that interview, he asked me a couple of questions, and he was like, okay, I see you have the energy, you have the potential to grow, but then what do you actually want to do? And I was like, JD, to be honest, I want to do TV, but right now, in Durban, there's no production house that caters to TV presenters or anything in relation to TV, right? So I was like, radio it is. And thereafter, I got into radio in 2018. I started shadowing for Kevin, who was also my mentor at that time, and JD as well. And thereafter, in 2019, I moved on to doing a slot on my own, a late night slot with MK Music. Shout out to MK. Yeah, and then from there onwards, I've been doing radio, just growing, and just teaching myself the craft, the skill, and just always trying to improve myself in the radio field of things, right? So 2019, I'm in my second year doing financial accounting. Crazy, I know, but we'll get into that later. So 2019, I'm doing my first radio show in, when was this year? Okay, in 2019, I think it was in like February, if I'm not mistaken. So it was it was a late night slot from 12 up until 2, a 2-hour slot. And then yeah, I am 2019. I'm 19 years. I'm a 2000, by the way. Yeah, just had to remind myself. 19 in the AMs, doing this radio thing, trying by all means to perfect my skill. And thereafter, I found myself in a primetime slot. That's the plug. And I've been riding with the plug ever since, man. So it's safe to say from 2018, 19, 20, 2021, 2022, 2023. I've been doing radio for the past 4 years. Yeah, and still working on the craft.
Nice. In your years of radio, who has been your favorite celebrity interview? And if you could give us some behind the scenes info on that.
Okay. So I've interviewed celebrities. I'm also a celebrity, to put it out there, I'm joking. I've interviewed really, really big names, but one interview that really, really stuck out for me was Blackie. Somnyama yena yedwa. I'm a huge fan of Blackie because he's from Durban, right? So anything that's Durban, if you're Durban based, whatever, I support that full time, right? So I had the opportunity to interview Blackie. It was actually an OB, an outside broadcast at, I forgot the event, but it was in January 2022. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So he was headlining and we waited for hours hours for Blackie to perform. Remember in Durban, not in Durban necessarily, in music, if they're having like a performance, outdoor performance, they normally save the big artists for later. And you have to wait if you are going to be interviewing those big artists. So I waited, I think, around like 11. And yeah, he finished his performance. Incredible. He's a great performer. I mean, he's talented. So after that, so his manager tells him that, yo, you have an interview at DYR. So just prep yourself. And then I think he had like a shot or something. And then he was like, okay, cool. Let's get this going. So as he's walking towards me, I'm smiling, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm interviewing Blackie. Like, I'm interviewing Blackie. Okay, he comes and I'm like, hi, I'm Mereece Dry and I'm from DYR and I do the plug show and I'm going to be interviewing you. And he's like, okay, cool. Okay, let me just backtrack a bit. So Blackie's from Sydenham and I'm from Sydenham. So I know Blackie, but I know me in the way of I see you around, but we don't talk. So I greet him and he's like, how dog? But then I know you, Jay. And I'm like, what? But then I didn't act like that, I had to be reserved and everything. And I'm like, how? But then, are you big now? You Blackie. I mean, you there, you probably don't remember me. And he's like, nah, dog, I know you, I see you, and I love your hustle. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We get seated and I do the interview and then we wrap it up and I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Please follow me back on Instagram. He's like, don't you worry. I think within 30 minutes he follows me back and he sends a DM. He's like, dog, shout out to you. Really, really dope work. You repping Sydenham. And dog, I was just like, snap. I interviewed Blackie and he was so chilled about it and he was so nice, man. I think he's the only artist that I feel like, the interview went well and he was so genuine about it. And I mean, if you've met Blackie, he's a very cool guy. He's very down to earth. He doesn't give those I'm Blackie dog, don't come at me in that way. He's very genuine and yeah, man, shout out to Blackie, man. Hopefully next time, maybe when I'm on an upper level, we'll have another interview, fingers crossed.
So cool, so cool. You speak so passionately also about your show,
Yeah.
The Plug, that you had on W Radio every Friday nights, and it's a hip hop show. So my question is, would you consider yourself a hip hop head, or was it more a case of there was an opening for that show and you kind of just took it?
Thank you so much for asking me that question. Okay, cool. So to be honest, right, I would not consider myself a hip hop head. And yes, that was the only slots available, a primetime slot. And obviously, I'm going to grab that opportunity and not let it go because I come from a late night slot, which is not prime time. And here I am being offered a primetime slot from 7 up until 9. And it's a hip hop show. But let's not forget that I love hip hop. I feel like hip hop speaks to me more than any other genre, from amapiano and house or whatever. So when I got the slot, I was very happy because when I was doing my late night slots, I found myself playing hip hop a lot than actual, the other genres, pardon me. So yes, the slot was available and I did take it, but then I was very comfortable. Radio is not only about talking, it's about back announcing and having knowledge about the song that you are playing on air or the song that you're about to play on air, right? So yeah, man, the second part, it was the only slots available, but I wouldn't put myself in the category of saying I'm a hip hop hit. And speaking about that, I don't want to box myself as well as just a hip hop presenter, you know? So this is something that I've been fighting with a lot because it's always Mereece Dry, the hip hop girl. And I don't want to be Mereece Dry, the hip hop girl. I'm more than that and I can deliver more than just hip hop. So yeah, hopefully this year, years to come, that I won't be known as a hip hop girl, because in Durban, when you think of Mereece, you think of the plug, and obviously when you think of the plug, you think of hip hop. So they associate Mereece with hip hop, which I don't have a problem with, but I have more to offer than just hip hop. And yeah, that's it.
Nice. So would you consider yourself just a music lover?
Yeah, music lover. A music lover, but I like hip hop, dog. I really, really do like hip hop, but a hip hop head, that's strong, hey? Because once you say you a hip hop head, they'll be like, okay, cool. So who's your top five? So Draco's your favorite rapper. Then you're not a hip hop head, you know? But I wouldn't put myself in that category because, hey, going down that lane, it's gonna be another story. Then the next thing, Mereece Dry, oh, you're acting like you're a hip hop head and all of that. I don't need that in my life, no thank you. But yeah, let's just say music lover.
I love that because it also gives you a non-biased opinion of what hip hop music is good and what is not good in inverted commas, you know? So I am gonna ask you that. I'm gonna ask you because it's a unique perspective that you offer. I'm gonna ask you who are your top five South African hip hop artists, and then I'll go on to the international. But just for now, who are your top five
locally?
South African
Oh
hip-hop
my gosh,
artists?
I love me some Prodigy. If you don't know Prodigy, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I love me some Jory. So Prodigy and Jory work together, and those guys are absolutely incredible. Like when we're talking about producing a beat, like just paying attention to details, those guys are insane. Prodigy is good with the pen, the flow. I feel like they're not being given much recognition right now. They're still young, upcoming, but I give them 3 years. Those guys flying, dog, in Durban. Uskindi, I'm a huge fan. I like Skindi. I like Lex LaFoy as well. I feel like I'm not going to give you a top five. I'm just going to name them. But this is in no order, by the way. Lex LaFoy. Who else? Aeon. She's a female artist. I don't like using the term female because we're all artists, but just to be specific, Aeon is also good with the raps. She's really, really dope. I have P Dog Amazing. Love the guy. Feel the vibe. Feel the vibe. Where were you? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I gave you five, hey? Five. So that's my top five right now. I'm trying to think of Biggie Brands. Biggie Brands. Where, guys, Biggie Brands is the guy. And who else? No, man, there's also Pig. He's incredible. And Mac 11. How can I forget about Mac 11? So I gave you more than five. I'm sorry, man. That's just my top fave in Durban, and they are doing absolutely amazing, being consistent with the music. And I'm here to support, man. If it's local, I got you. So yeah.
I love that. It felt like five was just a guide.
Yeah, man.
That's perfectly dope, man. What about your five favorite international rappers?
Okay. J. Cole. Reason why J. Cole. He's dope. He's incredible with the pen. And I actually have a tat here that says love yours. So yeah, it has to be J. Cole, number one. Number two, Kendrick. I like Kendrick. I like Nicki Minaj. I mean, Nicki is that girl, man. Come on now. You have to agree. I love me some, what's this guy's name? Is it, okay, I'll get back to him. Kanye West. Kanye is my all-time fave. He's always going to be my all-time fave. That guy he's incredible, and he's smart, from production, from writing. Kanye West, as much as he's going, on his own lane, Kanye West. And to wrap it up, who else? I'm not really glued up with international stuff. Can I say Blackie? Blackie is not local. Blackie is international. Blackie. We'll add Nasty C as well. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't think those two gents are local now. They're international, man. So yeah.
Amazing. And lastly, what can we expect from Mereece Try in 2023?
Yo, man. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. So at the moment, I've taken a break from radio, a forced break. We'll get into that later, man. So yeah, man, I'm not on radio, and I miss radio like crazy. I really, really do. But I feel like with myself not being on radio, it's a blessing in disguise because I'm currently working on being a TV presenter. So I'm working with really, really good people. So I'm part of a podcast called It's Not Common Sense Loud. And also within that podcast, I have a segment called You Know the Vibes, where I get to update you with the trendiest topics in South Africa, basically what's popping in South Africa or internationally. I'm that girl. So my entire focus is there. And also, apart from being a TV presenter, I'm working on emceeing as well. I do have a couple of gigs that I'm going to do in Durban and that I've done as well. And also, I don't know, I feel like this is a bit far fetched, but I'd love, love, love to add on actress because I've been told that, you'd actually make a good actress. So we're working on that. But Mereece Dry is just going to be a dog multimedia personality, man. That says it all. And I'm really, really excited about this year. It may not be the year that I actually get the recognition that I want or blow up or be on this huge production house or wherever. But I feel like this year I'm just going to be working on my craft and perfecting my craft and my skill and my talents. And then, yeah, man, from there, it's just going to be crazy. And what I've noticed is that um, with myself perfecting my craft, I've been getting the recognition here and there, getting people hitting me up, sending me DMs, yo, Mereece Drive, we love your work that you're putting out there, getting these gigs, alongside great, great people that are in the industry, hosting alongside them, pardon me, from LV, from MK Music, who's on Kakasi, so that's really dope. And actually getting paid. So getting paid my rate. So that's really dope, man. I'm just really excited, And yeah, hey, it's been a journey. It's still going to be a crazy journey because there has been times where I just want to say, you know what? Can I swear? Can I swear? Okay. Fuck this. I'm tired of this year, man. I want to throw in the towel. So yeah, man. And I find myself just getting back up and telling myself, look, man, dog, you need to work on yourself. The fact that you are doing the plug, the fact that you are hosting, the fact that you are getting DMs from people wanting to work with you, that should say a lot about the work that you put out there. And I put in a lot of effort with my work. Go onto my Instagram page. Everything is professional. So yeah, man, Mereece Dry is just going to be a freaking huge, huge brand in South Africa, hopefully in Africa, international, because I don't want to limit myself. In the next couple of years, man, you'll see this face on TV, you'll see this face on radio, just not in South Africa. You'll see me probably hosting BET. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Kuningi dog, kuningi that I want to work on. Kuningi, the energy that I'm pulling through with. It's going to be incredible. You're going to be shocked. And yeah, man, hopefully I'm going to be doing TV full time because yeah, radio I've had my fair share. So now the main focus on TV, and hopefully just dive into other stuff as well, not only TV. You never know, man. Big G is working overtime, and we'll see where he takes me. As much as I can have plans for myself, he has greater plans for me. So yeah, man. Mereece Dry, multimedia personality. Remember the name? You know the vibes.
Where can they find you on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm big on TikTok, okay? So it's me underscore Reece Dry. That's on Instagram, Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. Don't sleep on Facebook. Don't think that Facebook is the ghetto, because people have this thing of Facebook is ghetto and it's savage and all of that. Nah, dog. I actually get a lot of support from my people on Facebook. So I'm Mereece Dry. Twitter, it's me_Reece Dry. And TikTok is Mereece Dry. So how do you spell Mereece Dry? It's MEREECEDRY. So yeah, Mereece Dry. And just to put it out there, Mereece Dry is not a stage name. It's not a stage name, guys. That's actually my government name and my government surname, Mereece Dry. So stop DMing me saying, oh my gosh, what does your stage name mean? Why is it Mereece Dry? That's my government name, and then my surname is Dry, and I have no idea what does my name mean, Mereece. I've always been asking my mom, what does Mereece mean? And she's like, I really don't know, hey, but it's a very nice name. Just go with the flow. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Lex, and a major shout out to the deeply rooted team for having Mereece Dry. And yeah, Lex, you just told me that I'm the first person to be interviewed for the year 2023. Hopefully, we work on more stuff. Yeah, man. Thank you so much.